That huge Call of the Forge God.
Comments
And
off.
we are seeing exactly what EDG did against Vici. This was the composition Vici struggled with, where all you do is this as OMG is play afar, kite back, don't give the opportunity for Vici to engage, and you should be relatively good. Now, on this Vici side, you've got short range Renekton, short range Sett, Aphelios as well, who wants to get in and get close. So having this composition from Vici is going to struggle really hard against what OMG are trying to play against. We'll have to see if OMG can operate where they don't do what they did in their last series against FPX, which was draft a composition like this and then run into the enemy jungle and give all these flanking opportunities.
It's a really great point you raised. Vici struggled against this Karma top from Xiaosheng on EDG, who we'll see a little bit later. But when you talk about how it's built out, for me, looking to the side of Vici, a lot of all-in, a lot of diving potential there especially. I think Vici have showed us in the past that when they can revolve around Zeka, when they can let Zeka lead the charge, that's where they find their success. So running into game one here, it is going to be about this man in the mid lane once again that Coma always stands behind. And that for someone like Ike's is going to have to start playing around.
And it'll be interesting to see how this game does get rolling, because if Vici can get off to a nice start, they can get some of these kills under their belt early, it becomes very easy for them to try and snowball this lead through objectives, even through the man that we talked about, Zeka, having this potential to very quickly burst someone out. Once Curse isn't on point with the shields, but it's still going to be a little bit difficult for Vici. They need to get on to a really good start here so they can try and just run away with this game.
I have noticed there are blossoms that come across the screen at the end of pick ban now as well. And I think that we are in the middle of a festival. I will ask our producers after this.
Blossom Festival.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Oh,
is it the
actual,
League of Legends?
This is the League of Legends.
Ah, okay.
I'm not 100% certain of the real life connotation.
Normally the cool, the real life events roll through our League of Legends. When we get the Spring Festival, of course, we dress up in traditional clothing, as we have in the past. Didn't actually get to do it this year. Just sad about, but welcome to the Rift. Vici, a must-win. OMG, the same. Vici are a team on the bubble outside of playoffs. They need every win they can get to try and hit at least 8. That's 3 out of the next 5 series they have left in the regular season. While OMG, as Dagda said, their backs are against the wall. They need every single series to stop them from getting knocked out. And if they lose this, an FPX win later today, that'll be goodbye for OMG for 2020.
And here's the thing. I actually love the draft that OMG have. We saw Vici struggle against this exact draft in their series against EDG. OMG, though, tried to play a very similar composition against FPX and didn't quite manage the mechanics of it, because remember when we were talking about it in that EDG series, this is actually a pretty coordinated composition that all has to work together. Everyone has to be in tandem, all on the same page, and OMG, as a team that have struggled in that coordination, have struggled to find fights that are in their favor, this is a composition that I want to see how they compile it differently and what they've learned from that FPX series.
And they can build off the lane dynamics of someone like Curse, right? Hacker always goes towards the top side with this OMG lineup. Curse is someone who in this lane is going to have a pretty good time. Ike's actually paying his attention top, but on a ward, as Hacker's going to sandwich him down. Ike's in a bit of a pickle, as Curse lucky he's only level 1, but Ike's himself has to run away. The flash immediately burn the shield for the movement speed. And that was just janky, as down the bottom lane, Vici are going to engage on the 2 versus 2. Sora and Smlz do trade back though, and we're going to talk about Ike's, Dagda.
Yeah, Ike's trying to make this play in the top lane as Curse was pushing in. So the way that Curse wants to play this lane is push in, have that third wave crash, and then he can reset the wave and kind of do a little bit of poke to cube underneath the turret. Ike's trying to get a little...
Okay, well, Zeka versus Icon. Of course, Icon with the Comet has a bit more lane pressure here against the LeBlanc and doing well so far.
So what Ike's was trying to do in that top lane was, before that wave had crashed in the top side, get a cheeky level 2 gank where he has access to his face breaker, so we can set up that play alongside Cube, who I imagine had taken something like the Ruthless Predator. His W is second. But unfortunately, couldn't quite make it happen. Hacker does a good job of getting up there, interrupting that play. And this is something that we've seen from Hacker a lot, is playing through Curse and setting him up to be the carry. But that's not the case on Karma. You're not a carry on Karma.
We also all have to remember that for Ike's, he started in the enemy red, and so did Hacker. So Hacker now gets back towards his side of the jungle, while Icon just gets spanked by a paddle. Running through with Sigil. Icon There is a LeBlanc who doesn't have teleport. Sorry, I thought it was going to be Ignite on Zeka, but he's opted in for a safer rune. So kill threat denied, and Icon will back away and use TP of his own. While we see this blue buff going on, Smite needs to come down, or rather just a couple more fists. Hacker will not take it back.
But you can see Hacker has his own blue buff there. He went on to the far side of the map. So it's trading even Steven at the moment with the junglers involved. Zeka, however, he went for this aggressive trade because Zeka could actually just come back into the mid lane off his own teleport. So managing to burn icons as well. Doesn't quite get the kill. Now going with the teleport for Zeka here means that he's looking for more of a late game focus where he can have impact in these side lanes, make sure that he can play off at this moment, because if you can spread out OMG where you've got Cube in one lane, you've got Zeka in another, it becomes very difficult for them to operate as we talked about, because they want all 5 members grouped so they can get slows, they can speed up some curse. You've got this engage tool in Smlz, but if that is spread out across the map, it becomes a lot more difficult for OMG to enact that game.
And again, relying on Zeka, always that nice note to hit on for Vici Gaming. I do want to come back to jungle though, because the tempo was very impactful with that topside flash burnt by Ike's, but also him having to shift his pathing. Already set up vertically to deny curse and help out Cube. There's a couple of camps that Hacker has over Ike's now. And although Ike's backs and starts towards the top side, I feel like we need to watch towards this 6 and see where the junglers are into relation where they could have been.
Well, see, this is the big thing. So Hacker is going to back now. It'll take him 30 seconds to get back onto the map. And although he does have the clear faster, the thing is, because Hacker cleared more of those creeps in the Vici side of the jungle, Ike's is actually benefiting because all of his camps are respawning now at level 3. So he's getting a lot more experience off of these camps, whereas the one that Hacker just cleared is still only level 1. It's the first time those Krugs have been cleared. So it will mean that we're in a situation that you're kind of catching back up his Ike's off of that experience level. But the difference is really in those item choices. Because when you look at Hacker, he's gone for this Skirmisher Saber, which means he can fight a little bit more, he can go a bit more aggressive with that Red Smite. Whereas when we look at Ike's, he's heavily gone in towards, I want to gank, I want to get involved in these lanes. But if we end up in a situation where it's a 2v2 with Ike's and Hacker, the stats that this jungle item offers towards Hacker is a lot stronger.
Plus he has PTA, remember, as well, and so that's going to feel pretty good. As starting up for the Scuttle on the bottom side. And Hacker right now leading his Scuttles at the very least, sets it in front of that Mountain Dragon as well. Going to be spotted out by a ward towards mid lane. Let's look across the board though quickly while we see junglers trying to find their influence, because while we're talking heavily about the matchup itself, look at OMG, and especially towards mid. Icon's been trading out really well as we've seen, and is up by about 15, almost 20 CS here. There is a big wave through mid, so that should even out to about 10, but Zeka is behind.
And the whole idea here for Zeka is he'd love to get out of lane, he'd love to actually have an impact where he can go down towards the bottom lane, work with Maestro to try and get onto Smlz, see if he can make some kills happen, but unfortunately for them, they're not quite able to do so.
There's a dredge line, Maestro just wants a trade, but every time, Sora just stands in front and Smlz fights back, and because of that, Hacker says, let's stop this dragon, I don't care about that ward, let's keep hitting it.
Especially when you've got Icon who's pushing in pretty aggressively. In the mid lane, he can come up and join. Zeka's trying to trade to push this wave back out, but unfortunately for him, it just gives more opportunity for Icon to whittle away his health bar, and with that pushing lane, Hacker will pick up the first dragon.
Yes, he will. Ocean coming up in 5 minutes' time as well. And you're just watching Zeka here receive the wave and miss the cannon, which is a bit of a feels bad, but trying to trade back onto Icon. And still, it's about 20 CS. I thought it would even out. There was a bit of a wave, but Zeka must have missed a couple. So it is 20, denying the back on a LeBlanc that doesn't have teleport as well. Icon's lane state in a very good position.
And the thing is, because Icon got that later TP back, he was actually able to pick up the double Doran, so he's in a really good spot when it comes to those trades. He's also going to be getting a lot more of that mana back. So Icon's perfectly fine here. No matter when Zeka backs, Icon should be able to shove in this wave and at least deny another wave from Zeka.
I think so. The back does come through while we look towards topside, and this is what happens. Karma feels pretty good, and of course, when you go to the tankier route, the mantra with the Gathering Fire, I believe it's called for the W. Is that what it's called? I play Karma. Focus Resolve Dagger.
So whenever
That's
you
what
hit,
it is.
So the reason that this gets confusing is when you press or, all the names change. So it's like I know one of them is Inner Flame, but I don't know what the is that the empowered one or is that not?
No, Inner Flame is the normal one. Inner Fire.
Okay.
No. God, I play. It's like my most played champion, and because of the R, you're right. Everything kind of shifts a bit. I will say Focus Resolve is the W at the very least. And of course, a lot of healing there. So whenever Cube gets on him, it's like, well, okay, I'll just walk away now. Leading in a bit of CS in that top lane while we watch Ike's and the bottom lane, in Maestro at the very least, roam up towards that Herald to get an early objective for Vici.
And I like this call coming through from Vici. You can see Curse pretty low in the L mana, so he'd have to back before he could be majorly impactful here. And with the pressure the Cube has in that top lane, they're going to be able to secure it. Also, OMG hadn't kept their bot lane down on that bottom side, so this isn't like you've got a trade here when it comes to those turret lanes.
Hey, I'll keep coming back to this. Icon CS, have a look. 94 at 9 minutes.
That's pretty damn impressive.
I mean, Zeka is really behind. The blue buff will add on, of course, for that extra force. So we round out a bit, but it's more than 20 now. We're sitting at 25, and I've had such a big discussion with Icon, I think, with the audience, with, you know, casters over the years. And my decisions always come through as iBoy might be dead, flashes away from Smlz. A key summoner down. He was by himself because Maestro was roaming again. As this wave crashes on in, OMG get the shove and also have a CS lead in this bottom lane.
But yeah, when I look towards this mid lane, I think what Zeka wants to do, as we talked about, is get out of this lane.
Yep.
He doesn't want to be stuck here trying to wave clear against Icon. Icon can play so far back, it was very hard for Zeka to actually lock him down. And as well, don't forget, you've got that WE combo as this Azir to just fly out of there and not really worry about disengage from Zeka. So for Zeka, it's moments like this where he can clear the wave effectively and then start to roam. But because of how quickly Icon can shove in again, he's not actually getting a massive opportunity here. So what he really needs is Ike's to move into this mid lane and set him up where he can shove in, not have Icon suddenly able to clear this wave as easily as he can, and then have Zeke and Ike's work in that mid-jungle 2v2 that we're talking about.
And having a comfortable pace, as the Azir loves to do. It's going to be an early Nash's, early Ludens. Ike's is hovering around now, but Icon's still very comfortable here in this first game. And I'm going to come back to what I was starting to talk about, which was Icon's always been a conversational point for OMG. He is the franchise player alongside Cold, the two longest staying members. Icon is that mid laner that people look at, and he can be great or he can be bad. Let's find out which one it is, because the Emperor's Divide flash away. Here comes the Charger down. And First Blood finally a reprieve for Zeka mid.
And he's actually going to get this Rift Herald as well. I thought they were going to try and put this Rift Herald into iBoy in the bottom lane, but Vici realizing, look, Zeka needs to be the one that's getting this burst damage off. We talked about how much of a nuisance OMG's composition is running away. Well, that sucks for a champion like Aphelios for iBoy. So instead, focusing on Zeka, and this is a fantastic setup. Ike's does a really good job here to get this face breaker, so Icon can't try and escape.
Yep.
Flash under turret, gets that showstopper back out, and it's absolutely perfect for setting up Zeka. And now, as we start to move into this, Zeka is going to back. He actually stayed around a little bit too long. I would have preferred to see Zeka back, then move into lane at the same time as Icon and hold on to his TP. Now, though, he'll more than likely use that TP to get back into lane. So still, we won't be seeing Zeka get out of lane as soon as he can.
And with the Luden's Echoes, that's a complete dynamic shift. Is onto Icon for the solo kill, who's stuck around. Hacker is here, but there's half the health gone from a teleportless Azir. Dragon's coming up too, so crucial timing for Vici Gaming. And what was a big swing through mid has now evened out. There's big items on Vici as well. Icon walking back in, Zeka the threat off the side. And Dagda, I see an Infinity Edge on iBoy too. Alongside that Ludens, this could be a fight.
This is going to be the big... Ooh, hang on.
Hang on, Maestro dodges away from the arrow. Smlz didn't really aim that one, as probably just clicked on the screen and saw something shiny.
I don't blame Smlz either. I would have assumed with the pathing that Maestro was taking that he's going to head bot side, but actually manages to juke that one out. Still though, OMG have got control of River, and this is the big test for me. How do OMG work this competition? You can see Curse has already wandered down. They want to make sure they're grouped as 5 here.
Teleport in from the backside. That's going to be Cube running in. Ike just steals it away. Point blank, Maestro's back in onto Icon in the backline. The Wombo enabled the Azir, shuffled back in a choke, but Ike's is already through. Cube follows suit, and OMG decide to group up in the face of danger. Cube's still healthy enough to continue his pursuit as Icon pokes from range, but they've got Hacker under their thumb with a nice face breaker. The juicy kill, in fact 2 in the fight, goes to Zeka with Maestro. He's pulled out the conducting
You've got no way!
piece of wood. Whatever it is iBoy. He's going to be turned on, but Severum keeps him alive long enough to do some damage down. Ike starts chasing through, becomes a bit messy, but Curse will be the first to drop, and Icon follows suit. 6-1 on the kills, and Vici take pretty much all.
And that was exactly how OMG needed to not play that fight. We wanted to see them wander back, make sure they've got an escape route, and actually pull the dragon out so that then their escape path is straight through this narrow corridor that you can see where Icon actually runs through first. So if you pull that dragon out a little bit further, you run with Icon here, everyone gets into the safety, Emperor's divide to separate, and then you're looking fantastic. The problem is, though, because OMG stayed too close to the pit, and they've given multiple flank angles over towards Vici, Vici collapse, they get the kills, and as soon as Vici's composition gets onto OMG, well, you can see the results.
At the first eye test, you think, wow, that Emperor's Divide's perfect, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't work on a Sett. And Ike's was a massive nuisance in the backline, and Zeka cleaned up. He has a Magi's Dagda. All big boys buy Magi's. That's what we've learned here in the LPL, and Zeka is a very big lad at 4-0-3. Who cares if he was down almost 30 CS in the lane? That's not true anymore. He's bigger than Icon, and now, as per the laws of League of Legends, he is better than Icon.
And he's also got a level advantage. So he's gotten gold from the kills, he's gotten gold from those turret plates, he's gotten an extra experience advantage, and
he might get a blue buff from this as well. Smite helps secure. Ike's almost gave it over, but doesn't matter. A steal's a steal, and Vici, after that fight, after that little steal on screen, almost 3k gold ahead at 15 minutes all of a sudden, as Icon shouldn't be here anymore. Ike's on the wing, the barrel, the chains connect, Hex Flash over the wall, ulti in, and Zeka picks up 4 more stacks. This is getting out of hand.
It is getting a little bit scary here for OMG, and now you can have Ike's move over towards this Rift Herald. He can pick that one up for himself, although with Cube being poked out, may need to make a play topside before he turns towards him.
Ike says Hex Flash again. He wasn't spotted out. Curse is very far forward. The ward will see him first. Mantra not available. Or rather, the Inspire is what I was talking about. Going to get the health back with the Focus Resolve. Shield with the movement speed, but Zeka's on his way. Stop giving him stacks. He's 6-0-1.
He has 17 stacks in 16 minutes. I think that has to be a record or something. This is the fastest
this is night level,
I've ever seen.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what you expect out of one of the best mid laners in the LPL right now. And to give Vici credit, they set him up to succeed. It's Ike's who, after some early questions, has really resolved this game. We're at a point where 4k almost the lead. It keeps growing. And OMG trying to put pressure towards his bottom side turret, but iBoy and Maestro, they're still pretty strong.
And it's great to see Zeka come in. As we talked about before, Zeka's been handpicked by the Vici staff. And to see him now coming as, well, an up-and-coming mid laner within the LPL now. Obviously, he still has a long way to go before he reaches the likes of
But he's playing bloody well.
But he is playing very, very well. And Vici have now gathered around him to be the big carry for this team. And you can see now on his most played champion on this LeBlanc, he's looking pretty good.
The irony is that, you know, the last mid laner that Coma coached was also, is the best LeBlanc in the world, I think people will say, or at least one of. And the fact that, you know, Zeka's main follows in that pursuit is interesting. It makes a lot of Vici fans happy, I'm sure, because the direction that has been given, not only through Coma, but through Zeka being the mainstay mid laner, has made Vici the best of times look like a playoff team. And now with the top side, turret going to be dropping. This game one is slowly becoming a bit of a throwaway for OMG. 5,000 gold down. Vici continue to snowball and destroy.
And it's an Infernal Soul on the map as well.
Yes,
so this is where you are going to really struggle as OMG if Vici are able to get their hands on that. Because we talked about already, hey, look, if Vici are ahead and they can snowball off this early lead, they're perfectly happy to play side lanes if they want. If OMG aggress too far forward, it's very easy for Zeka to try and jump onto them and allow the rest of Vici to catch up and play along. So curious to see now how Vici decides to play this one forward, but with a dragon coming up, they're going to group straight away for this, and OMG, unfortunately, will have to give this one.
And we're also going to raise the issue that if OMG anywhere near it, someone like Icon will just die. Doesn't have enough MR to deal with Zeka right now with those 17 stacks, and walking into mid. Double distortion's a bit of a how's it going? And Icon feels the wrath a level down here on the enemy mid laner. Even up in CS still, at least he's maintaining that fact.
Yeah, Zeka getting a little bit of revenge for the laney phase from earlier on. He's looking pretty happy
Dude,
now.
he's got 6,300 gold at the bottom of your screen. At 18 minutes in the game.
That's not bad.
He's going to have a second item when he backs again. As enchant across the arrow. Who cares? Zeka's like, whatever. Oh, is he laughing? I'm not sure. Icon coming in. Emperor's Divide threatened, but hits the LeBlanc.
Hey, he got a summoner spell, and he got that enchanted crystal arrow for, well, a distortion. So he's perfectly happy right now. Vici are still taking stuff around the rest of the map, playing through that side lane. They got bot lane turret. Cube is doing a good job of just keeping Curse at bay off his top lane structure. So if Zeka's getting this much attention mid, the rest of Vici will flourish.
As we talked about, you know, how they play around mid. Ike's did a very good job towards that 10-minute mark of attacking Icon and putting Zeka in a bit of a good position as chains will land, and that'll be Icon's life, but unfortunately for Zeka, they don't. Icon backing away once again. A good LeBlanc player never says die, Dagda. They keep going in.
They also apparently say never say back.
Yes.
Icon would really like you right now, but iBoy's here now, and they can get down this mid lane turret. It does stop again. Icon's back.
But Vici fighting once again. The ult backwards onto Hacker. The shuffle forward. As red buff was actually secured by Hacker, but we go back to mid because Zeka's going to be jumping in again onto Icon, who just gets ultied and dies. This time iBoy gets the kill credit, but 2 more stacks go through as a flash for flash. Maestro makes Smlz quiver, and the mid turret will drop alongside the play.
And how are you supposed to deal with this as OMG? They want to group up.
Leave me alone, dude! A fed LeBlanc, everyone knows in their solo queue games, is one of the worst champions to play against.
And here's the thing, Vici can go have Zeka playing a side lane for a few minutes where he just shoves out a wave, gets it into a nice spot, and then come back and kill Smlz.
Dagda. If Zeka's on the map, we got to get ready for that. That's going to be happening a lot more. 7-0 to 23 stacks. He's going to buy an item and a half. We'll just watch this again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Icon, I understand. He wanted to stay around, he wanted to defend the turret, but unfortunately, you're out in a war zone right now, and you're just going to get popped if you even look at Zeka with that much health.
It'd see Zeka topside be like, good, okay, the LeBlanc's away from me. And the whole team of OMG right now have to track this LeBlanc, because Zeka kiting through vision is what OMG have to be scared of. Very defensive vision towards their topside jungle, but Zeka sticking in the side lane that you talked about a lot earlier than we expected.
And they're on the exact same page as you, Hysterics, for Vici. They realize, look, what we need to do is clear out this ward, clear out these wards.
Yep.
Set up so that then Zeka, as he can shove in that top side, and then can come through this dark jungle on the top side and look to pick off the likes of Smlz, who's alone, or find these people that are just wandering through, trying to get some jungle, and make sure that they can set themselves up for a nice victory.
They're going to be chasing this down, and uh-oh, again, put the turret down. I don't think it's going to matter. The shuffle through. Zeka over. Icon does a good job surviving for so long, but sharing the love while Hacker gets barely low as well. We'll walk away from this, but Vici not saying die once again. The arrow flies out. iBoy goes forward. Curse in a very dangerous position. Dredge line out too far, but Zeka's going to be joining the play. And now OMG, I'm not sure if it's safe.
You can see Curse holding on to the empowered ability. Not sure what the story is. Wants to make sure Zeka isn't going to catch him out. But look, you've got so many members of OMG stuck underneath this tower. Look at where Cube is. Cube is taking a structure in the bottom lane.
And Ike's is ready to come on in. While Cube picks up that, inner turret mid's going to drop too. Vici's gold lead going to extend to about 8,000. And even Sora takes so much from a single Q. This needs a miracle from OMG. Vici have to throw this in the bin for them to get anywhere near a Game 1 win. Oh, backing there was not the move. Nice lens from Zeka. Max stacks on the Death Note, like Yagami in the flesh for this Game 1.
And just a reminder to people, this is OMG fighting for their playoff spot. This is OMG trying to make sure that they're not going to be knocked down, because if they lose this series and FPX win later, they are out of playoff contention. But there is nothing that OMG can do here.
It feels like even if OMG lose and FPX lose later, still the ability to get playoffs off 3 and 9 is near impossible. So no matter what, it's a must win for OMG. And for Vici, they're in the same stage. They're at the same level, excuse me, where, hang on, I've got to pause. Thank you for the Infernal Rift. We'll shout Icon as he gets away, but For Vici, if they can win this series, they'll be 6-6. They'll be the same as FPX. And fighting for one of the last playoff positions as we get towards the end of Week 8. Game 1 looking pretty good here. 2 items and a half. Well, I guess we call it 3 items for Zeka because Magi is fully stacked. And he has a blasting one. Infernal Soul after this one for Vici, if we get there. Because at this point, they're one step away from breaking the base of OMG and moving this to a 10k gold lead.
But there's no rush here for Vici. I mean, look, they can always play towards Baron. They can then fall back over towards that Infernal Soul. And all they have to do is keep shoving in every single side lane. You can see OMG are struggling to have that composition fundamentally work because they can never group. You've Q pushing in one lane, Zeka's shoving in another, and then moving to catch people in transition. And Vici trying to now get vision control of this topside jump.
Cube can base check. I mean, he's tanky enough. Dominus is available with Flash. Spots out all of OMG while Ike's set up for the flanking position. A good pillar to stop the engage while pings are going down topside. A free inner turret, you say. Vici will take that.
And OMG are sitting in this mid lane. They can't even move up through that topside jungle because they know that's where Vici's lurking. Might be looking towards mid lane.
Yeah, Maestro wants to start the engage. Hacker might be caught out here. Dredgeline at least to connect as Ike sets it up onto Hacker, who's not tanky enough. iBoy does the damage. TP in the middle of the fight. That's Icon, who gets stopped midway and then walks away. Not sure how the interaction worked there, but Vici still not using Zeka. He's going to go back top.
He did start to roam down in case anything kicked off, because as that TP came through from Icon, they got a little bit scared, but he can still push in towards his top side. However, a lot of things going down. They want to continue onto OMG.
OMG are very far through the mid lane. They'll have to go through River, but that's where Ike's is waiting. Vici continuing to threaten. OMG do get the shove. Waste a bit more time, I guess.
Exactly. I'd rather see Vici just commit to a structure rather than trying to play keep away with OMG, because OMG's composition wants this. They want to be able to poke and prod and keep Vici at bay.
Well, Curse is the one speeding them up. Onto Cube, just trying to put some poke damage down. And okay, Vici, where do you go next? Because this game is under your wing. But we need to see some affirmative plan of action.
And I think the game plan needs to go back to what was working, right? Stick the guys in the side lanes. They're all good and dandy, and then we can try and pick people off as OMG are looking to try and deal with all these side lane pressure. Because when you have control of the jungle, it makes such a massive difference to where OMG can move. They have to take the long way around to all these towers because they can't just take a quick shortcut through the jungle for fear of Zeka, for fear of Ike's catching them out. Same with iBoy, who's churning out a heap of damage right now. So it just makes everything that much more difficult for OMG's composition to actually work. But we'll have to see if Vici are going to go back to the stall, or again, if they're getting a little bit self-assured as this game goes on with the massive gold lead that they have, it could end up biting them as we saw against EDG.
The problem is, if you get an Infernal Soul in 2 minutes 15, it doesn't matter anyway. You're just more assured to win this game, right? On Zeka, who will use it the best out of anyone. As Vision set up by OMG will spot this collapse from Vici Gaming. But they can head top, make this play once again, at least cut off the impasse so that Zeka can pull this off by himself.
Yeah, and now you've got TP advantage on towards Zeke as well, so Curse will have to go and deal with him. You've got a nice way pushing the bot lane as well that Cube could go and pick up if he wanted to, but not quite sure if they want to go for it. Zeka on the flank here through the jungle to see if he can pick off OMG after this mid lane struggle.
OMG can just walk down once again. Curse is backing away on a ward. Zeka's ready for the flank as pulls on back the Mantra shield out once again. Ike has found Sora through a choke is where they are. Icon on the backside, but Zeka runs in. The Enchanted Sora connects, but the rest of Vici are still pretty fed as the Emperor's Divide won't do anything. They walk through it, and Vici had this fight from the get-go. It only took a while for them to secure as the TP cuts off, and Zeka onto Icon once again. Icon, good night. As that's the way this game's going to end.
And here's that wave we were talking about in the bottom lane. Vici will go and collect. They can push in, no problem. There's 20-second death timers on anyone on OMG.
Icon not up for 35 to assure the fact that Zeka running forward, Curse dodging away. And this game was competitive for 10 minutes, but then a LeBlanc got fed, and that was all she wrote. Vici with a 28-minute win against OMG in game number 1, and a 9-0 LeBlanc with full Magi stacks. That does one hell of amount of damage.
And we said we wanted to see how Vici would